The transport ship descended through Dominion Prime's purple atmosphere, and Zara Chin pressed her face against the viewport. Below, crystalline towers stretched toward the clouds like frozen lightning. She clutched her worn datapad tighter, her other hand resting on the mysterious locked case beside her seat. Final approach to Imperial Grand Hall, the ship's computer announced in flat galactic standard. Zara took a deep breath. She was 19 years old, fresh from Earth's Xenobiology Academy, and absolutely terrified. But Earth needed this. Humanity's first cultural exchange student. Their chance to prove they belonged among the stars. The landing platform was massive, carved from some kind of shimmering green stone. As Zara walked down the ramp, she noticed the crowd waiting for her. Dozens of alien species stood in a loose semicircle, their diplomatic robes glittering with rank insignia. They were all staring at her. A towering reptilian creature stepped forward first. His scales were deep crimson, and his yellow eyes looked down at Zara with obvious amusement. "This is the human representative?" His voice boomed across the platform. "I expected something more impressive." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Zara felt her cheeks burn, but she kept her expression neutral. Her instructors had warned her about this. "Lord Crevadiach speaks truth," a chittering voice added. An insectoid alien with dozens of crystal eyes clicked its mandibles together. No scales. No armor plating. Such soft pink skin. How does this species survive? "Perhaps they don't," someone else muttered, drawing more laughter. Zara straightened her simple blue jumpsuit and stepped forward. "I am Zara Chin, representing Earth and humanity. I'm honored to." "One planet," Lord Crevadiach interrupted, his forked tongue flicking out. "Your entire species controls one single planet. The Zalthor Empire spans 47 star systems. Tell me, little human, what could you possibly teach us?" The question hung in the air. Zara opened her mouth, but a new voice cut through the tension. "That is enough." A figure glided forward through the crowd. He was humanoid but taller, with silver skin that seemed to shimmer like mercury. His eyes were completely black, reflecting nothing. "High Commander ZYXL, leader of the Imperial Council. The human is our guest," he said smoothly. "We must treat her with appropriate hospitality." The way he emphasized appropriate made Zara's stomach tighten. Lord Crevadiach bowed his massive head. "Of course, Commander." The crowd parted as ZYXL approached Zara. Up close, his presence was overwhelming. He radiated cold authority. "Welcome to Dominion Prime, Miss Chin. I trust your journey was comfortable?" "Yes, thank you," Zara managed. "Excellent." His lipless mouth curved into something that might have been a smile. "I have arranged special accommodations for you. And of course you will attend the proving ceremony in 3 days." "Proving ceremony?" Zara hadn't heard about this. "A tradition," ZYXL explained. "All new species must be judged by the Calvesh. It determines your place in the Empire's hierarchy. Purely ceremonial, of course." The way he said, "purely ceremonial," sent ice through Zara's veins. Around them, the alien diplomats exchanged knowing glances. A few were smiling. A smaller alien approached from the side, her skin a gentle blue like shallow water. She had large, kind eyes and spoke softly. "I am LYSS of Aquaria. I will show you to your quarters." As they walked away from the platform, Zara heard Lord Crevadiach's booming laugh echo behind them. 3 days. I wonder if the human will even last that long." More laughter followed. LYSS touched Zara's arm gently. "Do not let them upset you." "What's a Calvesh?" Zara asked quietly. LYSS's expression darkened. "A predator. The Empire's apex predator." She paused. The last species that failed the proving ceremony was forbidden to leave their homeworld for 200 years. Zara's grip tightened on her case. Inside were her research notes, her flute, and a theory about predators that might save humanity's future. She just hoped she was right. Zara's quarters were small but comfortable, with walls that shifted colors based on her mood. Right now they were a nervous gray-blue. She sat cross-legged on the floor, her datapad displaying everything she could find about the Calvesh. The images made her heart race. 12 feet tall. Midnight black fur. Claws like daggers. Eyes that glowed amber in the dark. They looked like enormous panthers crossed with something from a nightmare. A soft knock interrupted her research. Elwazis entered carrying a tray of food, her blue skin rippling with concern. "You have been studying for 6 hours without rest." "I need to understand what I'm facing," Zara said, not looking up from her screen. Elwazis set down the tray and sat beside her. For a long moment she was quiet. Then she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. The Calvesh were not always slaves. Zara's head snapped up. Slaves? That is what they are, though the Empire calls it domestication. OSS's large eyes glistened. 3,000 years ago the Empire found their world. Sangral. A death world where everything evolved to kill. The Calvesh were the apex predators, living in family packs, hunting together. What happened? The Empire wanted them as weapons. As executioners. As symbols of power. OSS pulled up a file on her own device. They took the cubs. Starved them. Used neural conditioning to break their spirits. Taught them that weakness means death. Now they attack anything the Empire labels as prey. Zara felt sick. And the proving ceremony? The Calvesh judge new species. If you run, you are prey. If you fight, you are a threat to be eliminated. If you freeze, you are weak. There is no winning option. OSS touched Zara's hand. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you. Show me everything, Zara said firmly. Every recording. Every behavioral study. Everything. They worked through the night. Zara watched footage of Calvesh in the arena, studying their movements. She saw their blank eyes, their mechanical precision. But she also saw something else. Small things the Empire had missed. There, she pointed at a frozen frame. Look at his ears. What about them? They're flat against his head. That's not aggression. That's fear. Zara pulled up another video. And here, see how he paces? That's a stress pattern. He's not hunting. He's trapped. OSS leaned closer. I never noticed. The Empire sees what they want to see. A perfect predator. A weapon. Zara's voice grew passionate. But these are traumatized animals behaving exactly like abused creatures on Earth. They're not domesticated. They're broken. She opened her locked case and pulled out a small wooden flute. OSS stared at it, confused. My grandmother made this, Zara explained. She studied animal communication. Did you know humans are the only species on Earth that befriended their predators? I do not understand. Wolves, big cats, even bears and sharks. Humans learn to see past the teeth and claws. We learn to speak their language. Not with words but with trust. Zara pulled up files from Earth's history. 30,000 years ago, wolves were our competitors. Now dogs are our best friends. We didn't beat them into submission. We earned their trust. OSS's eyes widened. You think you can befriend a Calvesh? I think the Calvesh remembers what it was before the Empire destroyed them. I think somewhere deep inside they remember family. But choice. Zara began playing the flute softly, practicing a melody she had been composing for weeks. It was based on wolf howls and lion calls, restructured into something new. That sound, OSS breathed. It is beautiful, but also sad. It's a morning song. And a call. The kind an alpha makes to lost pack members. Zara lowered the flute. I'm not going to dominate the Calvesh. I'm going to remind them who they were. Outside her window, Dominion Prime's 3 moons rose over the crystal towers. Somewhere in the city, a Calvesh named Rakthor was being starved in preparation for the ceremony. Zara had 3 days to save both their species. The Colosseum was enormous, carved from black stone that seemed to swallow light. 100,000 aliens filled the seats, their voices creating a roar like ocean waves. Zara stood alone in the center of the arena floor, and she had never felt so small. High Commander Zuexal's voice boomed through speakers. Let the proving ceremony begin. Bring forth the Calvesh. The crowd erupted in cheers. Zara's hands trembled, but she forced herself to breathe slowly. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Just like her grandmother taught her. Heavy chains rattled in the darkness of the tunnel entrance. Then he emerged. Rakthor was massive. His midnight black fur rippled over muscles built for killing. Scars crisscrossed his body, silver lines against the darkness. His amber eyes were blank, empty of everything except controlled rage. The Empire had starved him for 3 days. He was a weapon aimed at her heart. The crowd's cheering became deafening. Lord Crevadiach's voice rose above the rest. Run, little human. Give us a show. But Zara didn't run. Instead, she did something that made the entire stadium fall silent with confusion. She sat down cross-legged on the cold stone floor. Rakthor's head tilted slightly. This was wrong. Prey ran. Prey screamed. Prey tried to fight. This small creature did none of those things. Zara opened her case with steady hands and pulled out her wooden flute. She could hear confused murmuring from the crowd. High Commander Zuexal leaned forward in his seat, his black eyes narrowing. Rakthor began to move. His paws made no sound on the stone. He was pure predator, closing the distance with terrible grace. 50 feet. 40 feet. 30 feet. Zara brought the flute to her lips and began to play. The melody was haunting and wild. It started low, like wind through a canyon, then rose higher. It wasn't music meant for civilized ears. It was something older. Something that spoke to instincts buried deep beneath consciousness. Rakthor stopped 20 feet away. His ears swiveled forward. The sound confused him. It made something stir in his chest, something the Empire's conditioning had tried to kill. The music changed. Now it carried grief. Loss. Zara played for every Calvesh cub stolen from their mother. For every pack torn apart. For every proud hunter turned into a slave. Tears streamed down her face, but she kept playing. Rakthor's ears flattened. Not in aggression. In pain. The sound was reaching past his training, past the neural conditioning, past the starvation and fear. It was touching something he thought was dead. The stadium was completely silent now. Even Lord Crevadh had stopped laughing. The melody shifted one final time. This was a call. The kind an alpha makes when searching for lost family. The kind that says, "You are not alone. You are not forgotten. Come home." Zara lowered the flute. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. She spoke in Galactic Standard, but her tone carried pure emotional truth. "I know what they did to you. I know you didn't choose this. You deserve to be free." She reached into her case and pulled out fresh meat. Real food, not drugged or poisoned. Just nourishment offered freely. She slid it across the stone toward Rakthor. Then she did the impossible. She turned her back to him. She exposed her neck, the most vulnerable part of her body. The ultimate gesture of trust. The crowd gasped. High Commander ZYXL stood up. "What is she doing?" Rakthor approached slowly. He could kill her in one movement. His jaws could close around her neck before she could scream. He circled her, inhaling her scent. She smelled of fear, yes, but also of something else. Something he had not encountered in 3,000 years of service. She smelled of choice. The meat lay forgotten. Rakthor moved closer. Zara's heart hammered, but she didn't move. Then, in a moment that would change the galaxy forever, Rakthor lowered his massive body to the ground. He placed his scarred head at Zara's feet. The ancient Calvesh gesture of acknowledging a true alpha. The stadium exploded into chaos. The silence lasted only a heartbeat before chaos erupted. 100,000 aliens began shouting at once. Some screamed in disbelief. Others roared accusations. High Commander ZYXL's face turned darker, his silver skin rippling with fury. Zara slowly opened her eyes. Rakthor's enormous head rested at her feet, his amber eyes looking up at her with something that hadn't existed there before. Awareness. Recognition. Hope. She placed her hand gently on his scarred head. His fur was surprisingly soft beneath the old wounds. "Stop this immediately." ZYXL's voice cut through the noise. "Guards, remove the human." But before anyone could move, Rakthor rose to his full height. He positioned himself between Zara and the approaching guards, his lips pulling back to reveal teeth like knives. A low growl rumbled from his chest. Not the mechanical aggression of a trained weapon. This was the protective warning of a guardian. The guards froze. Lord Crevadh was on his feet, his crimson scales bristling. Chemical manipulation. The human used drugs or pheromones. This ceremony is invalid. Zara stepped forward, her voice amplified by the arena speakers. Her hand remained on Rakthor's side. "I used nothing but truth. And music. And respect." "Lies." Crevadh roared. "Then let me explain something," Zara said, her voice gaining strength. "Humans aren't special because we're strong. We're not the fastest or the biggest. We don't have claws or armor or venom. But we learned something your empire never understood." She looked directly at High Commander ZYXL. "We learned that true strength comes from bonds, not chains. On Earth, we befriended wolves 30,000 years ago. We befriended cats, horses, dolphins, even birds of prey. Not through domination. Through respect." LSS suddenly appeared at the edge of the arena, carrying a portable display unit. "I have evidence," she called out. "Evidence of what the Empire did to the Calvesh." "You will be silent," ZYXL commanded. "No," Elsa said firmly, her blue skin flushing with determination. "The galaxy deserves truth." She activated the display, projecting images above the arena. Historical records. Medical files. Training protocols. The crowd watched in growing horror as the truth unfolded. Cubs taken from their mothers. Starvation used as conditioning. Neural implants designed to suppress emotion and free will. 3,000 years of systematic abuse disguised as domestication. The Calvesh aren't your weapons, Zara said. They're prisoners. And Rakthor just proved that they remember what they were before you broke them. A deep, rumbling sound emerged from Rakthor's chest. Not a growl. Something else. It built and built until it exploded from him in a roar that shook the arena. It was rage and grief and defiance all combined into one primal sound. And across Dominion Prime, other Calvesh heard it. In their cages. In their training yards. In the private collections of nobles. They heard and they remembered. 12 Calvesh broke their conditioning simultaneously. They stopped following orders. They stopped pretending to be tame. The Empire's ultimate weapons were waking up. High Commander Zewexal's expression was frozen. He knew what this meant. If the Calvesh could be freed by simple kindness, what did that say about the Empire's treatment of every other species? Zara made her voice heard over the growing chaos. I make this demand to the Council of Dominion. Release all Calvesh to humanity's protection. Let us help them heal. Or I will share everything we discovered with every subjugated species in your empire. You dare threaten us? Zewexal hissed. I'm offering you a choice, Zara replied. The same choice you never gave them. Lord Crevadiach lunged forward. Seize the human. Kill her if you must. Rakthor moved like lightning. In seconds he had Crevadiach pinned to the ground, jaws around his throat but not biting. Just holding. Making a point. Other Calvesh were now entering the arena. They moved to surround Zara, forming a protective circle. For the first time in 3 millennia, they were choosing their own path. Zara looked up at the High Commander. Your move, she said quietly. The galaxy held its breath. 6 months had passed since the proving ceremony, and the galaxy was still reeling from the changes. Zara stood on the surface of Sangral, breathing in the wild air of the Calvesh homeworld. The planet was beautiful and dangerous, with purple vegetation that swayed in the wind and mountains that touched the clouds. This was a world built for predators and now it belonged to them again. Rakthor emerged from the forest with 3 cubs tumbling around his feet. They were small but growing strong, their black fur gleaming in the double sunlight. When they saw Zara, they bounded toward her with excited chirps. Careful, Rakthor rumbled, his voice deep but gentle. The neural implants were gone now. He could speak again though he rarely did. They have not learned to control their strength. Zara laughed as the cubs knocked her over, licking her face with rough tongues. I don't mind. She scratched behind their ears the way Rakthor had taught her. How many families have returned to the forest now? 43 packs, Rakthor said, settling beside her. More arrive each week. They are remembering how to hunt, how to live, how to be Calvesh again. He paused. We owe you everything. You owe me nothing, Zara said softly. You were always meant to be free. A transport ship descended through the atmosphere, landing near their position. OSS emerged, her blue skin bright with excitement. She now wore the uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps, having left the Empire to join humanity's mission. Zara. The Council just sent word. 17 more species have requested our assistance. OSS rushed forward, waving her data pad. They want to learn the human method. They want us to help them break free from oppressive systems. Zara stood, brushing dirt from her clothes. 17? That's more than last month. The Empire is fracturing, OSS explained. High Commander Zewexal was forced to resign. Lord Crevadiach faces trial for species trafficking and illegal gambling. The whole hierarchy is collapsing. Good, Rakthor growled. They built their power on suffering. Let it fall. Another figure approached from the landing pad. Ambassador Chen, Zara's mother, had arrived from Earth with supplies and new xenobiologists eager to help with the rehabilitation programs. Mom? Zara ran to embrace her. I'm so proud of you, her mother whispered. You did what seemed impossible. I just reminded everyone that kindness is stronger than cruelty, Zara said. Her mother smiled. That's very human of you. Over the following hours they reviewed the progress reports. The Calvesh population was recovering. Birth rates were up. Pack structures were reforming naturally. Dozens of Earth's best xenobiologists and therapists were working around the clock, helping traumatized Calvesh heal from 3,000 years of abuse. But the impact reached far beyond Sangral. The Empire's rigid classification system was crumbling. Species that were labeled as prey or labor class were demanding equal rights. The truth about the Calvesh had opened everyone's eyes to the Empire's cruelty. As evening fell, Zara sat with Rakthor on a cliff overlooking the forest. His cubs slept in a pile nearby, their breathing soft and steady. Do you ever regret it? Rakthor asked suddenly. Coming to Dominion Prime? You could have died. I was terrified, Zara admitted. But Earth needed someone to take the risk. And you needed someone to see you. Really see you. The galaxy mocked your species, Rakthor said. They called you weak. Pray. They laughed at your soft skin and small size. I know. They were fools. Rakthor's amber eyes glowed in the fading light. Humans don't need claws or armor. Your strength is different. You look at broken things and see how to heal them. You look at enemies and see potential friends. Zara reached up to touch his scarred face. The galaxy thought we were prey, she said quietly. They forgot that prey doesn't tame predators. Family does. Rakthor made a sound like a purr, deep and rumbling. Family, he repeated. Yes. That is what we are now. Above them, stars began to appear. Somewhere out there, the Empire was changing. And humanity, the species everyone underestimated, was leading the way.